Hey everyone, and welcome back to the main auditorium for this last keynote of the day. If you missed my session earlier, I'm Patrick Perrier, VP Product at Wiiisdom, the organizer of today's conference. And I'm glad to be joined today by Julian Pimm-Smith, who's a longtime colleague of mine and a friend from Typeform, and joining us as VP of Data and Analytics. Julian, what's up, man?
Absolute pleasure, and good to see you.
It's been a very, very long time. So Julian, since we spoke, which is met probably before COVID anyway, you joined Typeform. I bet it must be very exciting. But for people who don't know who Typeform is, can you please give us a bit of context of who you are and what you guys do?
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, I'm very recent into Typeform. I don't even think I've been there for 3 months. I think when I was joining, I thought I was joining a company that had sort of beautiful, intuitive forms. And since I've joined, I've realized that actually what Typeform is an interaction platform between businesses and their customers. So yes, absolutely. What I knew, the beautiful, intuitive, interactive forms that Typeform has is core within the product. But we also have a video chat, asynchronous video chat functionality. We've got lots of other exciting sort of digital interactions that are in the pipeline. So basically, we're a marketer's dream, creating sort of gorgeous, intuitive interactions between the business and their customers, gathering in that data. If people don't know us, obviously check out our website, but I think what you'll experience when you fill in a Typeform, and chances are you have with many of the retail companies you've interacted with, you'll just almost let out a little gasp of how that just sort of, wow, that worked. Whatever happened in that form, the way it worked, it's different to everything else out there. And that's the strength that we're building on at Typeform.
Well, I heard dream for marketing team, so Tony is listening today, so I'm sure he's going to be in touch. But would you say you guys are a data-led company while making decisions?
Phenomenally so. Yes, I think there's an advantage there that we are, a digital-first SaaS-born business. So I think there hasn't been a huge leap to becoming a data-driven business, but data, it is woven into the fabric of decision making, of the product roadmap to a certain extent, and obviously at the heart of trying to understand our customers.
So of course, this session is around decision making in today's data-driven world, which is why I was asking. There are a lot of sessions today, including mine, talking about the different technologies, processes, methodologies, trends, and so forth. But with you, we have the chance to see how a tech-savvy company is using data and analytics every day to drive, I guess, their growth and innovation. And on that, because I've known you for many years, what would you say has been the biggest change in business intelligence since you started, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago or something like that?
Oh, man.
And you have less gray hair than me, so I guess it's not too much perhaps.
What has changed in BI over the last 12 years? I mean, nothing and everything. So something like 12 years ago, I was in Airwave, telecoms company. We were processing in a week more data than most companies today would see in a whole year or in their whole kind of data warehouse, terabytes a week. We were doing real-time geo-based analytics. We had statisticians who in some respects are nowadays called data scientists. And we were a real performance-driven culture. And I know, you and I know, we can walk into a very established enterprise today and they don't have any of that. So in that respect, the goals of BI are probably still quite similar, that performance-driven piece. real time where it's important, self-serve and intuitive for everyone around the business. All of those goals are the same. I think where it's changed is the value that data, the realization of the value that data gives to a business. So there is no board member, no exec member who doesn't understand that data will differentiate them from their competitors in the market. And I think, as little as I like all of the buzzwords around data, your big data, AI, all of these, the things that are sort of, like I said, the buzzwords, as irritating as they can be and distracting, they have turned the conversation so that the boards, the exec, and really everyone in a business understands, if we understand how we're performing, we can do better than the next person along.
So you'd say awareness from the top perhaps is the biggest change?
I think so. I really do think so. And they're putting their money where their mouths are, to be honest. I think data it's a well rewarded job across the world right now. Everyone's struggling to hire people, knows that's the case. And IT budgets, technology budgets are the portion of that pie that goes towards data is growing every year, and hopefully with reason.
Good. And I know you've worked in many industries. You just mentioned one of your past companies here.
Yeah.
Which ones did you prefer, and where was BI taking them most seriously?
I think my immediate gut feel answer to where it mattered, well, where I enjoyed it the most and it mattered the most, was logistics. And I think the reason for that is, in many businesses, things like real-time data are just a luxury. They don't really matter. It's almost the next step in the data maturity curve that people want to take. But in a business like logistics, it actually runs on the data. So the routes are designed with data. The trunking overnight is prioritized with data. The drops from couriers are measured in real time with data. And there's something about, yes, it's stressful when you're running that operation, that sort of data operation in a logistics business, and time is money. But it's exciting, it's thrilling, it pushes your whole team to make that platform robust enough that it's operational. And again, that's something rare in BI across many industries. It is often just looked at as analysis after the fact or predictive analysis about something that might happen, but this is driving the business in the moment. So logistics was just really exciting to work in. And then I think when I worked at Pret, you asked the question also, where did it matter? And man alive, Pret. I mean, I've always described it the same. I think Pret, half of the success of Pret is the brand, the values within it, the fact anyone who likes Pret, they never say they like it, they say they love it. So Pret's got that magic, but I think half of the business, the success is the data. And every single person, team member in a shop, all the way up to the CEO, can see exactly what matters to them about the performance that day in the week so far, and in the quarter so far, and they can adjust in order to hit their targets by the end of the week or the end of the month. It's remarkable in that way.
And I remember really fun things about basket analysis and all that. Yeah, a lot of fun, a lot of good fun. Yeah. Yeah, really exciting. Thanks for that. And then if we go back to your current role now at Typeform, your team is called the Data and Analytics. How's it composed, and how are you guys working?
Yeah. So okay, so it's quite a substantial team, and that part of that is, I guess, what I was alluding to before, the realization of the importance of data, but also a digital first cloud SaaS business are always going to rely a lot on a data team. So substantial team, we have a function called data enablement. And so that is tracking. So those are the people who turn the clicks in the product, the features of the product into data within the data lake, data warehouse, etc., and also track our end-to-end customer journey. We have a data platform team, and these are the people who sort of extract. They're the ones doing the real-time streaming of data using Kafka, populating Redshift. So that's sort of largely the data enablement team. And then you have the data analytics world, which is comprised of 2 data analytics teams. At the moment, they're split between our funnel side of things and then our product and customer side of things. And then we have a team called core analytics. And I think primarily the generic term for them would really be a data warehouse team, but they have some other specialisms around that. And that's quite interesting. I've never had a split between, let's say, the E and the L and the T of ETL, but I kind of get it, seeing the, I suppose, that pure cloud nature, the streaming nature of our data. It's becoming more so 2 different specialisms: that preparation of data in the data warehouse and the actual, well, data engineering, as the titles of the team is. And then we have data science. So two teams of data scientists who are split again between the funnel and the product customer engagement side of things, and also a ML production team. So those are the people who help turn the data science that we do, or operationalize it. And that could mean operationalize processes within our business, but where I want to head for more so, and they want to head for more so, is more data-driven product features, I suppose. So substantial team, but very good team.
Yeah, wow, that's that's a lot of people. Yeah, and such a team, or such a big team. Can you share with us some modern and innovative examples that shows how critical the data is for you guys at Typeform?
I can try. So I think, where should I start with? Okay, back to the fact it is a pure SaaS product. Experimentation is incredibly important. There are so many features that we will be starting to develop where we will not revert, it's not quite the word, but we will go towards the experimentation route to see how they track with the customer. So everything from standard A/B testing to much more advanced experimentation. And actually what we're doing at the moment is we've spun up a specialism, I suppose, in experimentation, and that Matt, the person within there, he's building not just the platforms and the processes behind experimentation, but even to the extent of the outputs of what good looks like. How much does the needle have to move to choose that product feature version versus that product feature? So we're, in the same way that we want to roll out self-serve to our customers in terms of reporting and analysis, I suppose, we're trying to do the same with experimentation. So take the sort of admin and bureaucracy away from the data team itself and provide experimentation as a platform, you might want to call it. So yeah, that's where data's, ridiculously key, but you can only get there with damn good data scientists, and that's where we're very lucky. Something else that has just been built is a recommender engine. You were talking about market basket analysis. I suppose it has echoes of that that we worked on at Pret. So the recommender engine is, I guess you could say we're starting small, but what we're trying to work out is, from what we know about our customers' behavior, how could they benefit from other bits of our product that they haven't used to achieve the job that they're trying to do. Starting off small, it's live right now, but the great thing about it is the team is not thinking just about will the MVP work. They're thinking about, if it works, let's build it so that it is scalable, so that whilst it achieves the sort of MVP task, it's essentially a recommender engine that could do so much stuff throughout within the product and within the business to just better identify where we can help our customers better. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
One more on the data side of things, and I think, you know, I can't take credit for any of this stuff because I've just rocked up. But the last one is on the strategy side of things. So what is a breath of fresh air is that just after I started, we had a data offsite, and the CEO came in and gave us a talk about what might be called a pivoting strategy, a certain focus and strategy, let's say, for Typeform as it's developing. And the lovely thing was that he closed it off by saying this came in a large part from this room, as in the data, the quite deep dive analysis that they did in the data science and data analytics world came up with a truly data-driven strategy, and that's what's rolling out now at Typeform. So I guess I think if you ask most people who run data functions or responsible for data functions, they'd say, you know, if the business is data-driven, and I've luckily, it seems, walked into a business that is data-driven, and I just want to help move that forward, enhance it more.
That's really cool. Really like the second example as well. And now, being data driven, you know that across the board, if there's no good data, if the data is slow, the data is wrong, it's ungoverned, you can't do good analytics. And well, here at Wiiisdom, and that's the topic, that was the topic of my session earlier, we strongly believe that organizations that want to be data-driven also need to govern their analytics, because this is where critical decisions are made. And we like to call that the true last mile of the data journey. Here you go. And what are your thoughts about this topic? And perhaps what do you guys do at Typeform to ensure that, you know, people are trusting the data, they're trusting the analytics, and that the data they consume from reports and dashboards are always accurate and, you know, available?
Yeah. Yes. Data governance. I think, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to tackle it, right? And I've worked with you guys, you know, at Bupa, particularly on that side of things. So the tools are very important. I'll come to that in a second. I think first off, if you have a data team that really partners with the business, and I mean everybody in the business, you know, they have links into every directorate, every major team, and continuously iterates on what information that team is looking for, then you will hopefully lessen the chance that individuals around the business will try and create their own metrics, will try and find their own data answers to an extent, because, you know, you've got a data team, they should be relied on for that analysis piece, and they should turn it into information that gets around the business. So I think that's a massive responsibility of the data team to help on that, just to almost sort of brand their data that's so good, so simple, so intuitive, that's what people use. There's some basic control things that anyone here watching will will have done to consternation of people in the business, restricting access to the data warehouse from outside of the data warehouse team, turning off freehand SQL, whether you've got, well, whatever tool you've got, Power BI, Business Objects, Looker in our instance. I'd say data lineage is incredibly important. And I think, again, that's probably, well, that's one of the large reasons we used you guys in Bupa with Business Objects to get that auditing capability that Business Objects didn't quite have. At the moment, what I'm seeing in Looker, which is the platform we're using, particularly around visualization and dashboarding, is that it does have a really healthy, really comprehensive auditing function, let's say. So really good data lineage, but it's still a drill down visualization tool. So again, it's about, in Looker, people can create their own looks, their own explores, their own different levels of hierarchy within the product to view the data. And again, I think it comes back to my first point. The way to tackle that is for the data team to produce better, clearer, simpler, more intuitive data that's automated, and hopefully it reduces that issue a bit.
Yeah, automating the testing around it as well. I assume testing the rules, the row level security, that the data is right, not changing, that sort of things.
Yeah.
Awesome. Looking a bit ahead, considering that things always move very quickly, what are your top priorities for your team, say, for the next 2 or 3 years to come?
So if I look at the broad, I guess, disciplines that we have, sort of that data analytics and data science, I think on the data platform side of things, I want us to build out our data platform to be so robust that it's essentially the middleware of the business. And I think that's something a lot of, that's not Typeform specific. I think that's a new aspiration that I don't think you could have. Maybe that is something new that you couldn't have 5-10 years ago. Not so much. I think middleware generally, I think, is incredibly important to the business to make sure that all your systems are connected so that you can have end-to-end processes that don't break in the way. And I think people would have chosen a middleware tool for that. But now I think just the skill sets we have in data engineering, the cloud technologies we use, I think that's a healthy aspiration to have. So that's on the data side. On the analytics side, it's to crack the sort of puzzle of self-serve. So I as I mentioned before, I think the analytics team's responsibility is to do that analysis, to turn it into KPIs, to say to bits of the business, follow these KPIs, follow these reports, and we will do better. And I think self-serve and extensive drill down can really break that model, because then suddenly the whole business are analysts and they spend loads of time clicking and clicking and clicking until they find the answer that makes them look good, or they find the problem that they want to raise, and it takes away that objectivity. So I think nailing clear, simple, intuitive self-serve reporting, where whatever people click on, they're still at the single source of truth. It's still quite objective. They almost can't help but being objective. That's sort of a panacea for analytics. And then data science, without question, it is. I've got a phenomenal team. I mean, it's a comedy phenomenal team. I've said it before. It's humbling being on calls with them. The unis they come from, their accomplishments in this business and beforehand, mad talented team, and I want them to contribute more to data aspects of our product. I think there's in Typeform, you'll see it when you use it. I think there's so many exciting areas where we could develop data products essentially for the respondents to the forms, for the creators of the forms, as well as that machine learn driven sort of intuition that we build into our product. So I think those are the three things I'd like to focus on.
Well, sounds very interesting, very challenging. Thank you, Julian, for sharing your experience with us. We really appreciate it, and I hope that you and people listening enjoyed it. I actually have one final question. I can't believe we have met face-to-face since the beginning of COVID, man. Can you believe this? So when is our next glass of wine, of good wine?
Of good wine? June.
June. In June, nice glass of wine, downtown London. It's a date. Excellent.
100%.
Well,
all right. Pleasure.
Again, thank you all for joining. It's time to move on to the next session where you'll have Francis from Tableau Software, who will tackle the topic of trust in analytics and how to restore it with governance. So that will be in Auditorium 1. In Auditorium 2, we have Rachel Stuve, who will take the interesting topic of analytics storytelling as a way to increase analytics return on investment and equity. Enjoy the rest of your conference and have a great day.